20-year-old student Molly Tibbetts from the USA went for a run and disappeared without a trace. She was searched for by the FBI, local police, and all residents of the small town, but no traces of the girl were found. A reward of $360,000 was offered for any information that would help find Molly. After a month, the police found footage from cameras that contained the horrifying truth about her disappearance. The 20-year-old student went for a run and disappeared without a trace. The whole country followed her search, and the police couldn't find any leads. However, the truth revealed through surveillance camera footage shocked America and sparked heated debates. Today, we will tell you Molly Tibbetts' story and what led to her disappearance. Molly Tibbetts was born on May 8, 1998 in San Francisco, California. When she was in second grade, her parents divorced, and Molly moved with her mother and two brothers to Iowa. Her father continued to maintain close relationships with his children. After graduating from high school, she enrolled at Iowa State University's psychology department. In her free time, she worked at a children's camp at a regional medical center. She led an active lifestyle, participated in sports activities, and had many friends. During summer 2018, she spent time in a tiny town called Brooklyn, located also in Iowa State. Its area barely exceeded 3 square kilometers, with only 1,400 inhabitants living there. It seemed like nothing terrible could happen in such a quiet place where everyone knew each other. On July 18, 2018, Molly went out for a run. In Brooklyn, she lived with her boyfriend Dalton Jack in his brother's house. On this evening, she was alone at home. Her boyfriend left for work in another city, which is around 210 kilometers away from Brooklyn. Molly sent him photos via Snapchat and went out running around 7:30 p.m. The next day, Molly was supposed to go to work, but she never showed up. This seriously worried her relatives and boyfriend. They all knew that the girl was extremely responsible and never missed work without warning. In addition, she did not answer calls or messages. As a result, her parents decided to contact the police, who began searching for Molly. From the first days, this case began to attract increased attention throughout America. As for the residents of Brooklyn, the disappearance of a young girl became a real shock to them. Nothing like this had ever happened in this tiny town before. People never locked their doors and were confident in their own safety. Molly's father, Rob Tibbetts, came to Brooklyn from San Francisco and actively participated in the search. He distributed flyers with her photos, questioned people, and tried his best to help with the investigation. The parents never lost hope that their daughter would be found alive and unharmed. 3 agencies immediately joined the search for the girl: the Iowa State Criminal Investigations Division, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the county police. Together they worked through over 2,000 leads and interviewed about 500 people. The search for Molly was spread out throughout Brooklyn's surroundings. At some point, law enforcement received a report that Molly had been spotted at a truck stop in Kearney, Missouri, 380 kilometers away from Brooklyn. Police checked this information but couldn't find any confirmation. As is customary in such cases, they investigated her boyfriend's involvement as well. According to statistics, most crimes of this nature are committed by relatives or close acquaintances. But not this time. Her boyfriend had an ironclad alibi. He was indeed in another city, and physically could not have been in Brooklyn that evening. Time passed without yielding any results in finding Molly. The State Criminal Investigations Division announced a monetary reward for any information leading to her safe return, its amount constantly increasing until it reached $366,000, a significant sum even by U.S. standards, and a record-breaking reward for Iowa State. At one point, police reported narrowing down their search for Molly to several locations near Brooklyn: her boyfriend's house, a gas station, several local farms, a truck stop, and a car wash. But all of these efforts failed to locate Molly. Police received hundreds of tips. Each one led them nowhere. However, one episode seemed quite strange. The owner of one pig breeding farm where police focused their search was extremely reluctant to cooperate with law enforcement. He denied any involvement in Molly's disappearance, but refused to take a polygraph test. All of this made him an excellent suspect, but there was no evidence against him. This meant that the police couldn't interrogate the man or conduct a search on his farm. As a result, the investigation once again hit a dead end. The police tried to find any connection between the farm and Molly's disappearance, but they couldn't find anything. At least, not at that moment. Everything changed on August 21st. A few days before that, a source in law enforcement informed journalists that the police had found the body of a young white woman. Of course, everyone immediately assumed it was Molly, and they were right. On August 21st, the police made an official statement. Molly Tippett's body was found in the county where Brooklyn was located. Her parents identified their daughter. Investigators immediately noticed that 2 items were missing from her: her smartphone and fitness bracelet, which she always carried with her. It is likely that forensic examination has reached an official conclusion by now. She was attacked and struck multiple times with a sharp object. This further shocked the residents of Brooklyn, as they all knew each other and could never have imagined there was such a cruel criminal among them. Newspapers also sensationalized this story, making America talk about it. The solution to this horrific crime did not take long to reveal itself. Almost immediately after discovering the body, the police arrested Christian Rivera, a 24-year-old illegal immigrant from Mexico who had illegally crossed into USA 7 years prior. He worked on various farms during all this time, hiding under the name John Bat. Police caught onto Rivera by studying surveillance cameras near Molly's usual running route. On footage, they noticed Chevrolet Malibu car driving back and forth aimlessly. It cannot be said for certain how exactly did police obtain his confession. According to official version, Rivera confessed as soon as he faced questioning. Apparently, he drove past road where Molly ran several times. She caught his eye, and he drove past her several more times. Presumably, it was these movements captured by surveillance cameras. At some point, he stopped his car, got out, and started running alongside Molly. At the same time, he began verbally harassing her, trying to win her over. Molly didn't like it and threatened to call the police. When she reached for her phone, Rivera attacked her. After that, he dumped her body in a cornfield and fled. While under arrest, Rivera suddenly changed his strategy and claimed he doesn't remember anything about that evening. It's possible that his lawyer convinced him to retract his confession. Charges against Rivera were filed on August 22nd. At trial, which started on September 19th, he pleaded not guilty. The trial lasted for 3 years, largely due to the lawyers. Rivera's relatives hired 2 attorneys who did everything in their power to achieve an acquittal or obtain the minimum possible punishment. The whole of America followed the trial. The thing is, this crime was committed during Donald Trump's presidency. As many of you know, Trump advocated for stricter immigration laws and paid particular attention to Mexico. The Trump administration used Rivera's crimes to its advantage. Molly Tippett's tragic fate was cited as an example of why Trump's reforms were necessary for America. However, the girl's father categorically opposed his daughter being used in political disputes. But no one listened to him. The story of one girl reverberated throughout the country precisely in the context of immigration laws, because it is difficult not to agree that illegal immigrants pose a danger when such a case occurs right under our noses. The speed of the criminal proceedings was also affected by the pandemic, and only on May 17, 2021, did the main part of the hearing begin. Rivera continued to insist on his innocence, but had no chance. On May 28, the court rendered its verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. Rivera received Iowa State's maximum sentence, life imprisonment without parole. Now he will spend many years in prison at the expense of American taxpayers. If we set aside politics, Molly Tippett's story once again shows us a sad truth: danger can await anyone where they least expect it. And none of us are immune.